This week on SailAway, we're getting settled into Grenada and getting River's social life kicked into high gear. We also find ourselves with a momentous occasion to celebrate.
Cheers!
We get you caught up on some of our current fixes and our massive still-to-do list, as well as our future plans.
I don't know, I'm just gonna spill all kinds of beans right now.
Spill them.
But then things take a very scary turn in the Anchorage.
She was up on top. She started waving us over, so Eric jumped in the dinghy.
And what was just a dragging becomes something far worse.
All good in the hood?
It's not good. It's really bad.
Oh, it's really bad? Oh.
Yeah, it f***ed up the sail drive,
Oh.
and it's like pouring water inside.
And this scary event forces us to reconsider our own preparedness.
Good to know where your weaknesses are. I am definitely aware of what my weaknesses are right now. And I don't like that. I don't like having those weaknesses. So we're going to change that soon.
Starting our engines 101.
Ever wish you could escape normal life and experience more of the world?
So meet me on that island. Well, we did just that. We sold everything we owned on dry land and sailed away. Promise me that we'll sail away.
Now we are roaming the planet in search of new adventures and sharing it with you every week.
Just promise me that we'll sail away. So hit subscribe and escape normal with us. I'll be yours forevermore. Come on, it's just that little button down there. That's it.
Well, we made it to Grenada this morning. Already in the dinghy and ready to go because it's summer camp. Made it in just in time to get some summer camp in. And all your friends are there too. It's really good to be here. Suddenly we realized we got a lot of stuff to do. Our laundry is all dirty. We need water. We need to go to the market. There's a fresh market and get some food. We gotta get ice. Gotta contact the refrigeration people so we can not have to go get ice anymore. Now that we're here, suddenly we feel very busy. But first, get this kid to camp. Back to the fair blue.
Very
Nostalgic.
I like this thing.
Yep.
So tropical and pretty.
Yep. Sure made the first part of COVID pretty almost a non-event. Don't know what they're doing.
Dance today. There it is.
Oh, it's one. Okay. That's the bakery. Cool. We can do clothes.
La Fair Blue is an amazingly beautiful and welcoming haven for cruisers, and it's a place that cruising kids will never forget the rest of their lives.
It's Rivers with his two girlfriends, Aurora and Lisa.
It is living the life.
No kidding, man. Caribbean is looking good on him. This is just good old Grenadian rum. Good old extra splash today. This is fresh squeezed passion fruit juice bought from the farmer's market for 5 EC. That's like $1.75 or something for this whole bottle of perfect mixer.
I don't know
our
what
hatch.
that was.
I'll work on those. And this is the email and official documentation that we do indeed own the privilege 482 named Ophelia. It's official.
Cheers. That's strong.
It's good though. You're too strong?
No, I inhale.
Rum is usually stronger through your nose. And now we've got one boat left to close. for now, at least we have one boat closed,
One boat.
and that is a very good thing. Here's to Ophelia.
Here you are, Ophelia.
Yep.
Now let's make her over.
Yeah. This is the before section of Ophelia's history, and we hope the after is not too long after. We've already been doing quite a few things. Showed that officially we've got like decorations up. Got our map up where we put all of our pins showing what islands we've been to. A decorative dog on the floor. A few pictures here and there on the walls. We've even got the equivalent of a refrigerator door down here with some corkboard and a place to hang up lists and Rivers art.
You know what I was thinking, because we don't have anything in our rooms, I was like, I'm gonna paint things and we'll hang it up, and if it sucks, it sucks, but it'll be there for at least a little bit until we get actual art on the walls.
I don't know, I'm just gonna spill all kinds of beans right now.
Spill them.
We're in a position where this boat's a renovation. It's a fixer-upper in a lot of ways. In most ways, mechanically, she's good. Like, the hull is solid, the rigging is solid. But cosmetically, she just needs love and needs some things fixed. There's also hardware, knobs, hinges. It's like hardware store kind of things and Amazon kind of things. And down here, you just can't get anything cheap. Labor down here is great. That's why the boatyard is such a good deal here. But for all this other stuff, we really think we need to be up in the States for a little while just to be able to order like a ton of fixtures, ton of lighting fixtures. Just go either online or to the hardware store or wherever and buy faucets, and go to the Joann Fabrics and buy really cool cloth for all these walls. We've got some really cool ideas for how we're going to do that.
Yeah.
And those kind of places. So essentially, that means we're going to go to the States. Our plan right now is at the very end of hurricane season here. We don't know exactly when. We're going to bust it for the East Coast. And we also don't know exactly where on the East Coast yet. But the plan is to find some place where we can park the boat, most likely on a mooring ball, if we can find one. So it's affordable, but near places that we need to go. And then also be able to drive back and forth to Ohio a couple times for the holidays, for Christmas. We haven't spent a ton of time there. I definitely haven't. Lauren went back for a couple weeks, but she spent most of that time with COVID.
Maybe we'll actually,
And not
have
get
fun
COVID.
and be able to see all the people and all the things.
And Rivers can see some snow.
Rivers really wants to see some snow.
So that is our plan at the moment, and it's partially to go see family and to be able to do a lot of stuff to this boat without going broker than we feel right now, which is pretty broke. That's the plan. While we're here in Grenada, we're going to do as many things as we can to this boat for free or cheap. All right, we're going to drink these drinks.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Yeehaw!
Seems like I don't like this game.
One day into actual legit ownership, and it's time to start cutting things apart. It's not really as dramatic as it sounds. So these are our trash bins for down in the kitchen, and there are two, but they're quite big, and the way these work is they just notch into the cupboards and then they tilt open. Right there are the two holes that those go into. Lauren has said from the beginning that she hates that there's two of those. We're always going to have some kind of trash can up in the cockpit because you need some place to throw away stuff like right there. And that is a bunch of wasted storage space. We'll turn this left one into storage and keep the right one as trash. So I'm going to put some hinges on this door, and eventually we'll put a shelf in there too, just so we can split things up and store it better. It'll just be a nice big storage area. It's really deep too. So definite moldy, mildewy smell coming out of there. No one got the really good job.
Yeah, don't say I never clean things.
Alright, there is the finished, also fancy trash can. With little nice slots for the bag to grip into. And I don't know, we'll see. We might just put a bungee all the way around. Next, hinges.
Do we have hinges?
Yep.
Oh, well that's good.
A few holes and a few screws later, we have our hinges in place here. Flat bottom holes. Flat bottom holes, you make the cabinet world go round.
Bam. Trash and storage.
Storage. We can take all the random crap out of your parents' room.
Probably not all of it.
Nah, some of it's too big, but still.
It was a very uneventful day, but it's crazy out here how fast that can change.
We had a dragging boat right behind us. I always hate when this happens because I don't want to like film somebody that is in trouble, but like it does happen, and I think it needs to be talked about that, you know, you got to make sure that you're really stuck well, and things do happen. It doesn't really matter if you're stuck well or not. Sometimes it's just wind comes up unexpectedly in a different direction. I mean, we've definitely dragged. Everybody, if you anchor your boat, there is definitely the chance that you will drag. It was just weird. I had just looked out and to see if so we were kind of all in a row, if we were fine, and we looked fine. Everybody looked all right, and then Eric came up and was like, "Oh shit!" And they are friends of ours, so she was up on top, and she started waving us over. So Eric jumped in the dinghy to go see if they can help. They did definitely hit the other boat that was behind them that is now in front of them. I don't know, it might be an old sea wind. So I think he's just out looking to see if he's got any damage. And they look like they've now re-anchored. And again, it could happen to anybody, and there were like 3 other dinghies that came out at the same time to go help. So it's always a very community thing. It's nice to see. I know when things go bad, it sucks in the moment, but people are always willing to come out and help, even when it's like raining and gross. There are good people in the world. So we have found some tips and tricks when you're dragging. Obviously, as long as you're clear of everything and there's no like current danger of you running into another boat behind you or a reef or something like that, the best thing to do is to put out more chain and to really get that to dig in well. So like I think what they did once they got behind the boat that they had run into, they put out more anchor chain to help drag the anchor and to really get it to grab into the ground. Like when we dragged in the BVIs, I had to pull up anchor because there wasn't any room for us to go back, and I was in between two boats. But if I had had the room, the best and easiest and safest thing would have been just to put out more anchor chain until it grabs. There's always factors that's going to change your decisions on how you need to react and proceed when dragging, but it's just one thing that might help. The rain and especially the wind really is what gets you. That is slowed down, so they are, looks like, pulling up anchor and going to find a new spot. And luckily Stardust doesn't look like it really took any damage. I'm sure up close might be a couple scratches, but she looks like she's sitting pretty. Another thing that we found that actually I don't think a lot of people think about, or they would think it would be the opposite way, but we leave, maybe I shouldn't actually say this, but we leave the keys in the ignition in case the boat were to drag while we aren't on the boat. Somebody, hopefully a friend, could come aboard and start it up and motor out of the dangerous situation for us. I think that goes against what a lot of people would think. You know, you want to not make your vessel easier to steal, but in all reality, boats don't really get stolen that often. Somebody could get on and start it up and take it to a different country, but the sailing community is so small that even if you were to take it to Australia, there's going to be somebody there that you know, and they put out APBs basically, and there's always kind of a, oh yeah, I saw that boat last week. It's not like a race car or even just a Volkswagen that you could get across country in 10 hours. In 10 hours you make it to the next island. It's a thought. It's a thought. So they're moving somewhere else. All good in the hood?
It's not good. It's really bad.
Oh, it's really bad? Oh.
He got
A hole?
he got one of the dinghy painters wrapped around the top, and it f***ed up the sail drive,
Oh.
and it's like pouring water inside.
Oh. That's really bad. Okay. So when they were moving it happened?
Huh?
When they were moving or when it was?
It was when we were up. It wasn't after, it was after the whole incident.
Yeah. Oh.
It was already re-anchored and everything, and when he started backing down on it, the dinghy painter on his dinghy must have been too long and in the way, I don't know. And he got wrapped around the sail drive, and we heard a punk, and we were trying to figure out what it was. I looked down and realized that the painter was under the boat. I'm like, whoa, stop, and we stopped, and I opened the engine compartment, and water's just gushing in, like gushing in around the motor. I came over, got my gear, and he had his gear, and we shoved towels underneath it, like cram towels. He did mostly, and then I went in and like kind of repacked him while he was doing other things. And then I just got up my hand pump, started pumping while he was like, I don't know what's going on, but this water is like, he was like almost up to the motor. And so I was just barely keeping up with the water. And I was pumping out 5-gallon buckets, like probably 10 or 15 5-gallon buckets. And then Steve showed up, and he's got a big hand pump with a long hose, so he started pumping on the other side, and then we started to catch up, and the guy started getting the seal to stop up a little better, and we finally caught up. And he's like, nah, I think it's okay. I don't think you need to haul out today. You don't need to do an emergency haul out. We can get this fixed. He's like let's we'll get some bilge pumps in here.
Hey.
With me, I'd be finding the emergency number personally, but this was like a tow that had nothing to do with dragging.
Yeah, exactly.
Just total shit luck after the drag.
Yeah.
He was just backing down to set the anchor. It was already set. It was like in.
Yeah.
Chain was out. They got it.
Oh, that sucks. All right. Oh, we got another storm that just popped up. We moved over to Prickly today, and I'm not gonna lie, Eric's off the boat, and I'm just nervous, and I think it's from watching the other boat.
Where's that?
He went to the hardware stop, sure, after watching the other boat drag, and I'm always really confident when Eric's on the boat because he can start it up and he can do all the stuff, but this boat's so new that whenever a storm comes up, I start running through the possibilities and how I would fix them if I need to. And without him here, I realize that I don't really know how to even turn on the engines or go forward or anything, so that's definitely something that I'm going to have to work on when he gets back. Storm's been going for about 10 minutes, so I'm hoping it's done soon. We're holding fine. I mean, we're not, this is just me being an over anxious person whenever any new situation pops up. Like, I'm watching the boat behind us, and we have not dragged in any way, but it's always good to know where your weaknesses are. I am definitely aware of what my weaknesses are right now, and I don't like that. I don't like having those weaknesses, so we're going to change that soon. So yay, you're back! Let's get a lesson on how to start the boat.
Yeah, we both had a great time while I was gone, didn't we? Lauren's gonna learn how to actually start the boat, which I think you could get started.
I mean, I'm sure I could, but I would like to just be like, oh yeah, this
Here's the right
is the
way
right
to do
one.
it. Yeah. Cool. Well, let's do that. Starting our engines 101. You take this sort of janky throttle control.
So this is just neutral.
It's just neutral throttle. You don't want them all the way back, so just a little bit. And then there's a key start for starboard and a key start for port. You don't have to do anything special. You just go to the right and hold it.
Okay. Should I do it?
Yep, go for it. That's it. See what I got?
Oh, okay. There's
Didn't
not
take-
like a click or anything.
Yeah. And now just forward is forward and backward is backward.
The windlass is now on all the time, or I would go and turn on the windlass?
You turn on that switch that says windlass. Yeah.
Oh look, a rainbow. Alright, so that's cool. Alright, well I don't think we need to actually move the boat.
No, that's all there is to it. Yeah, and if it's just a matter of slowing down and dragging anchor, you know, you don't even have to really steer.
Right, just keep it.
You just keep throttling and try and keep the boat into the wind using the throttles alone.
Right. Which with this anchor and me being the only one, if I was the only one on a boat, that's what I would have to do, is
Yeah.
basically just try and keep it the same spot and
Yeah.
hope that you got back.
Right. Well, and I mean,
Eventually.
like just stopping it from dragging sometimes is enough to let it sort of sink down and find its grip again, you know.
Okay,
So that's it.
cool.
Nothing crazy.
Now I'll be prepared
Yeah.
if another squall comes up and we drag.
And you did some driving under sail, but you haven't driven it under motor yet.
Right, I've
Yeah.
never. This was still only the third time we've ever like moved the boat, so
That's true.
you know,
Yeah.
it's not.
It's not happened a whole lot.
All right, well, beer now.
After all that work.
No, it's just me trying to come down from anxiousness.
Yeah.
So.
Understand. Passage drink time.
This is
Sundowner.
Only how many days late?
a lot, but it's our first passage drink.
It's our
on
first
this.
actual passage drink. That's why I didn't want to let it like completely go. Got an awesome sunset. We just wanted to set aside and commemorate it
Cheers.
with the first ever Ophelia passage drink. Remember, it is of course now an Ophelia.
Oh yeah, instead of a
Just
Cecilia.
rum and juice. I'd say it's
Should
just
we
our
change
drink. And Elia?
it? Elia.
Elia?
No.
No. Yeah, you're probably right. Alright, guys. Well, cheers. Thanks for watching. The video is probably not over, though, so keep watching. This is just our evening is almost over. Have a good one. Let's have another drink.
I will.
It's probably a good time to start making the to-do list. And I've made two. One is the Ophelia to-do list ASAP. That doesn't mean that these are crucial things, just things that we can do now or in the near future without being anywhere special to do it. It looks really long. There's a lot of little stuff on here. Check this out. I do this for my own benefit. I write down things I've already done and then I check them off because it makes me feel better. And like literally way over half. String the Tramps. reinstall the trim in the hobbit hole. Okay, now we're to the things that we haven't done yet. So look at that. That's all the jobs we've done so far, and that doesn't include just general cleaning and straightening and, you know, putting up art and doing all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we got trim to reinstall. That we want to do. I have a whole nother list that we won't even go into today. And this is the long-term stuff. And there's some bigger jobs on here and stuff that we really need to be someplace where we can buy materials cheaper. After we leave the U.S., you know, we can have work done in Panama or here or Mexico. We'll figure out the logistics of that and work on all this stuff. It's all doable, and I know other stuff's going to pop up that's going to be complicated. But we had those things pop up on Cecilia too. Can I get a high five? You ready?
Lauren finally has room to do her yoga, and that makes her very happy. And we all have room to find some personal space for ourselves when we need it. And that space is especially helpful when two of the crew are down sick.
We have been here in Woburn now for almost a week now. It's been pretty awesome so far. We finally got the boat truly closed, and we are absolute owners of Ophelia. Rivers and I have been sick for the last couple days. He had a fever. I didn't have a fever or anything. Just feels like a bad cold to me. Yeah, so we're kind of staying away from everybody. Apparently this has kind of gone through all the kids that went to summer camp. So he's been kind of having chill days, just laying around the boat, playing tablet, watching TV. And Lauren and I have been doing projects. But it's pretty cool. We've been working our way through that list pretty quick. It's starting to show. The boat's starting to feel a lot more like a home. It's been really a cool experience, even though we don't have refrigeration, which truly sucks. Having to buy ice every couple days is really a drag. Even without that and the hassle of that and living out of a cooler, I don't know. It's been a cool experience so far living on this cat. It's like living in a small apartment, and the way it's laid out, we use all the parts of it. There's not like one hall that we never visit because it's just a couple spare bedrooms. What's up, bud? How you feeling? Still feeling kind of down? Yeah. Maybe we'll both feel better tomorrow. Your nose got burnt too. Look at that peeled nose. You wear it well. It's okay. This would have been a miserable few days, honestly, on Cecilia, because we'd be much more on top of each other and kind of down in the boat where you can't see out. It's a little more, you feel a little more enclosed. It can be a little hotter and stuffier. It's been a hot week too, and yet we've done really well. Just kind of, again, we've got lots of spaces we can go to, and there's always a cooler spot on the boat somewhere. Well, that's just kind of a little sundown update. High five. All right. How are you feeling today? Good answer. Almost better.
Almost all.
That's the standard answer. I'm definitely not feeling almost better. Matter of fact, I feel so bad that I decided to take a COVID test. Ha baby. Still last man standing.
Right now, I feel like the last man standing.
Yeah, at the moment you're the last man standing in this household.
I win.
But in the world, I'm the only person that's not had COVID yet. Ever. Pretty sure that's accurate data. I was actually going to be pretty bummed if I had COVID. It's not that it's that big a deal. I mean, it's not that it's not a big deal, but the current version at least is not as bad. But I don't know, I'm kind of wanting to keep my streak going. So at least for now, me and Rivers are the only ones who have never had COVID, right?